What's up, guys? Can everybody hear me? I'm coming at you guys from OBS Studio today. So I just want to make sure that everybody can actually hear me. Seems to be working on my end, but this is all kind of new to me. I used YouTube early on, and then I recently switched over to StreamYard. So audio's good. Volumes are okay because I'm, again, just trying to figure all this stuff out. And I'm trying to do it in a way where I can also access the chat. Sweet, loud and clear. Awesome. So how's everybody doing today? And I'm a little behind on setting up all of the giveaway stuff and all that good stuff tonight, so I'm going to jump into all that with you guys, but hope everybody is well. So let me see, I'm just battling a bunch of windows, just got to get used to the new format here. But the reason I wanted to switch over was actually because I still have to figure out like when I have guests on and stuff. I was supposed to have some guests today, but things kind of fell through. But I got to figure out how to bring guests on here through OBS, but there's just a lot more settings options. I think that the picture and audio quality are better as well. I don't know if you guys notice any differences with this as opposed to like last week and the week before that, but hopefully, you know, it's a step in the right direction. So hope everybody's doing well though, and I'm going to jump into the live chat a little bit more tonight than I have in the last couple of weeks, just because we don't have guests this week. So it'll be a nice opportunity to kind of jump in with you guys a bit more. Let's see. Just pulling up the stuff for the giveaway. Good. Glad it looks better. Yeah, it's funny. In YouTube, so looking at it on my end, it looks way better. I'll have to like screenshot it for you. It looks way better than it does on YouTube. Maybe just because YouTube just doesn't have the same resolution as you're doing it live. I don't know. I have noticed that when I play back the live streams, like I honestly don't watch these much after I do them, but if I'll look at like different parts, I'll usually look to see like how at least the picture quality and audio was. And I do notice that it does look a little bit better, so maybe YouTube needs a little bit of time to process everything. I don't really know how all that works. Still fairly new to the whole streaming thing, but let's see. Just logging in here to access the giveaway, and I'm going to give you guys that link too for any of you that didn't yet see the the giveaway link. That's one thing that is a challenge with the streams, is just like operating the other windows and stuff. So once I get all this situated, I should be good to go here. So I'm going to provide you guys with that direct link over to the giveaway, which is this plug and play retro game console that I have somewhere around here. Here it is, right here. Right there, ready to go. Oh, sweet. So we've got an hour and 9 minutes left on it. I'm going to give you guys the link again here, and I should be able to pin it in this as well. 563 entries. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so here we go. And I believe I can pin that once somebody comments, and it's so bizarre that they have this set up. So the little like heart emoji sort of thing blocks the options for the comments. So until somebody comments, I can't pin it. So write something, somebody. Like I can pin, yeah, I can pin everybody else's except for the last comment. Always. It always seems to be that way. There we go. Sweet. A little delay on my end. Make sure I pin the right one. Now you're commenting too quick and it keeps jumping. There we go. Message pinned. Perfect. All right, sweet. So let me bring this over. Yeah, it's funny. On my end, the picture quality, it looks light years better than it does on YouTube. So I guess it's a YouTube thing. All right, because it's been driving me kind of nuts. I'm always trying to kick it up a few notches here. But yeah, I guess it's just a live stream sort of thing here on YouTube. All right, so can I still show people's comments on here? I don't think that I can. That sucks. That's the only downside to this, is that I can't put the comments on the screen like I used to be able to. Not without like some third-party software, but I'll figure it out. All right, so I'm going to jump into the live chat now. So if anybody had any questions that I didn't answer yet, I know we're very early into this, ask them again because I'm just jumping in there now. But hope everybody's doing well. Where's everybody? I see greetings from Virginia, from Rodrigo. Where's everybody else at tonight, though? Move this over. Nice. Welcome, Brian. That's right, Richard. Smash the thumbs up. I didn't even like the video. Ordered the Kinhank 12 terabyte. Yeah, that one actually took me forever to get here as well. Did you buy it through Amazon? So when I ordered it, I got it from Amazon, but I think it was like 3.5 weeks. It was a long one. Actually, by the time it came in, I forgot that I had ordered it. How good is Retro Beast, actually? So it depends on what you're looking at. Are you looking at the light gun setup? Because the light gun setup is good, but it has a lot of moving parts. So you do need it's pretty demanding on your PC. So you do need a pretty powerful PC. Like I have a mini gaming PC and it works for, I would say probably about 85% of everything on there. I know he's done a lot of updates recently on there, but I've yet to update it further because I just feel like the updates are more so for like the higher end stuff, and I was having some issues with that stuff. But I mean that's emulation, so I'm not, certainly not broken up about it. Virginia's in the house. Central Jersey's in the house. What's going on, Jeff? Let's see. It's quantity over quality when it comes to 100. Yeah, I agree. Whenever you have a setup that's like 100,000 games, then you are most likely going to have tons of duplicates, and it's just going to be one of those situations where it's not even just it's duplicates, but it's also like multiple versions. It's different release versions and stuff. So yeah, it just ends up getting padded out so much where it's just not the true count anymore. So, from me anyways, I think that it's a waste to have all that. But I do see people all the time in the comments that are defending the duplicates because they want to have multiple versions. I personally don't understand the logic. Like, do you need Aladdin in, do you need the European release? Do you need the Japanese release? Do you need the US release for the same game? I mean, I can understand wanting a European version or wanting, one of the foreign releases, but you then, if that's what you're looking for, do you still need the US version too? I mean, it just seems excessive to me. Star Trek Maniac. There's a lot that goes into that. I think that it's just not a, I don't know, I think you just put yourself out there for too much problems if you're selling stuff like that. So, my focus is just on, videos and video content. I love doing this stuff. Setting up builds and stuff like that. It's tedious and it's just not what I love doing. So, much happier doing what I'm doing now. Douglas, I agree that that new mini PC was a game changer. Like totally a step in the right direction. I think it's just kind of a preview as to what is to come with mini PCs and the capabilities there, because we've seen so many advancements now with mini PCs and what they can handle in such a short period of time. And now it's just, that's the thing, when you start doing more of the high-end stuff, I think you just open up the doors to now everybody's going to expect that from everything. But luckily, I think that it's one of those few situations where the prices do actually drop over time. Like we're seeing the Sur 6 Max from B-Link, which was, let me see if I can open this up. The window game here is tough with this, but I want to see what the Sur 6 Max is selling for these days, because I reviewed it not too long ago and it was pretty expensive. Oh, that's funny. It's right on the main page here for Amazon as I jump on here. So B-Link Sur 6. I just want to make sure it's the Max. Yeah, it is. So the B-Link, where'd it go now? That's weird. It brought me over to the Sur 7, and there's a million listings for the Sur 7. Where the hell is the Sur 6? That was strange. So when I reviewed this, and this wasn't that long ago, I feel like it was selling for like 6 and change, mid sixes. Oh, it's $639 now. I just saw it for like $5. Oh, and there's only 2 left. That's why. Supply and demand, I suppose. And that's the Ryzen 9, 32 gigabyte RAM, processor speed, base processor, 4.9 gigahertz. Yeah, $639 because they only have 2 in stock on Amazon. So they just brought the price right back up because, they could sell those last 2, at the full price, I guess. see. I wish I could. Miyoji, is that the? I hope I'm saying that right. Miyoji, thank you so much for the exclusive membership there. Really appreciate that. Let's see. All right, so I'm diving back into this now. Anytime I open up the windows, it's definitely confusing with this new setup for me. All right. Any videos on tweaking PS2 performance on RG505? Thanks in advance. RG505. Not, I don't have anything on that one. That's actually not ringing any bells off the top of my head right now, the RG505. I'll have to look that one up. Did I review that? Have you seen a review video from me on that one in the past? And I apologize, I'm looking off screen. My monitor's over here today. Question, I looked at all your reviews. I bought a Pandora box from Amazon with, 20,000 games and not a Star Wars game on it. The hurdles I've gone through to run the 3 arcade Star Wars games. Is there a question in there? Maybe I read it wrong. It's definitely a challenge to run the Star Wars games well. They shouldn't be. Which Star Wars games are you talking about? So I had actually had Star Wars Trilogy up on here, and I love that game. That's probably one of my favorite Star Wars games. I haven't done much with BattlePod, but that's at the top of my list to dive into. Perfect Storm Gaming. Have you played BattlePod? Because I know you're a big Star Wars guy. And we've got some Ric Flair going on here. Woo. Love it. Yeah, so Star Wars Arcade. It's interesting how the pre-built setups like that don't always include what you're looking for, and that's the biggest issue. And they don't provide game lists. I don't think any of them do, especially through Amazon, because they don't really want to confirm or deny what is included on there. So I think that's the benefit to reviews and stuff, like stuff that I do, and a lot of the other, I'm one of a million that review stuff like this. That's your best bet, is to see somebody that's unrelated to the company that's offering it, and you're able to see exactly what is truly on there. I'm not able to pull the comments up here, and that's what sucks about going through OBS so far. That's really the only thing negative I have to say about this. I like being able to just kind of throw them up across the bottom. I know you can do anything on OBS though. You just have to get different plugins and different software. I was actually watching a video on bringing guests on through OBS, and it looks like a fairly simple process. But you just have to get some other open source software into the mix, and you should be able to kind of create your own virtual studio between you and however many guests you want, which is pretty cool. So I watched the video last night, but it was 2 or 3 in the morning, so I didn't actually try it out. But maybe we could try that out one of these days and figure it out for both of us. We've got lots of videos on the arcade and battle pods with the flight stick. Gonna make a new one. Sweet. Yeah, I wish I could pull these up here. Yeah, when I click on it, it just says, it gives me a bunch of options. I can put you guys in timeout, but that's about it. Hide user from channel, remove, report. It doesn't give me any positive options. It's all negative stuff here. Seems like that should be an easy function to take advantage of, though. I could pin them to the top, but I have the link up there pinned to the top. So yeah, it would be nice if I could just bring it over here. Then you guys know which question I'm addressing. Have you used the 360 emulator on Series X? Not on Series X. I've used it just on my gaming PC. I've used it both through Linux and Windows is always the better option. But it's still so early on that it's just not a great experience. So I usually stuff like that, and even the PS3 emulator, when that first came out, I tested it out, didn't like it, and I just kind of set it aside for a period of time. And now that's made some major strides in the right direction. But Xbox 360, I feel like it's been a slow grind for that one. I actually like the Star Wars Pod Racer game on my homebrew setup using a Momo steering wheel. That's pretty cool. There's a channel out here that, I don't know if you guys have seen it, and I'm blanking on his name, but he's all over my YouTube feed. Let me see if I can pull it up here in a different window. Because he's got, and if anybody knows the channel that I'm kind of describing right now, yell it out, because I'm going to just kind of go through my feed here and see if I can locate it. he's got this. He basically built through 3D printing, and he worked with somebody to help him do it. But he basically, here he is, Kongs Are Us. He's got an amazing, basically home replica of the Battle Pod game, and it looks absolutely amazing. He's got like a whole arcade in his house. It's pretty sweet stuff. I actually reached out to him through, I don't think I have his email address, but I reached out to him through like some of his comments on videos to see if he would like to come on the channel sometime. And I haven't heard back, but he does get a lot of comments, so he probably just didn't see it. Or he doesn't like me. All right, let's see. This whole thing jumped here. Yes, Aaron, you could take Brad as he... Brad was going to join me. I put him in the thumbnail, but he disappeared as soon as right before I clicked the button. So yeah, you can take him. He's probably sitting on the stairs. Yeah, he didn't want to be on here today, I guess. What is your favorite gaming franchise when it comes to the Super Nintendo and NES? That's So whenever I do Super Nintendo, I feel like I'm always playing like Donkey Kong and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess Konami's good too. Capcom, I don't know, I'm not a big Capcom guy. Never have been. Or I shouldn't say that. Not big on like the most popular stuff like Punisher, stuff like that. Really enjoy those, but yeah, I don't know what it is about it. It's just, I think that anytime something's like super mainstream, I just run away from it. Of course, Donkey Kong's a bad example in that case, but I don't know, probably Nintendo, I suppose, but yeah, Donkey Kong Country, definitely the games I jump into for Super Nintendo. And I don't do much with NES. It's before my time, so I'll mess around with like Super Mario and stuff like that, but I'm so bad at those games that, I don't last long. Like I'll burn through all my lives on like the first level. It's really bad. More of a Sonic guy. Kevin, yes, I'm gonna have to do that. This is my first time on OBS. Like I actually did my last two videos I filmed through here. So it's interesting to see those after, again, talking about like the resolution quality and stuff, because I can see if I bring this down, I'll have to take a screenshot of this and just post it because it's definitely significantly different on my end than it is for you guys. But when I did those videos and I processed them outside of, basically I film on OBS and then I edit on WeVideo. And then when I post them to YouTube as a regular video, they have a long time to actually process on YouTube. So if you upload a video and you like do an instant premiere of it, it's considerably lower quality than if you let it sit there for a couple hours. That's why usually now I'll schedule the premieres out like several hours before they actually post on here and are available to everybody. So I think that's behind all of this, but it's interesting to see the differences. So I will definitely figure out how to bring over the comments and all that stuff over onto the screen, because that's the only advantage I see to StreamYard. That, and it's easy for guests to join on, but I think I've figured out how to do that sort of. I just have to test it out. NumbyQ, what's going on? Big. Who played Gauntlet in the arcades? Actually, I got this, I don't know if this thing will, do I have it on tracking mode? I do. I've got this Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet right here. Let me see if I can pull it over. I don't have the riser on it right now, but it's Mortal Kombat 2. It's the Legacy. Is it the Legacy? I think it is. It's got Gauntlet on there. So I was actually surprised. I thought that it only had Mortal Kombat 2 on here. And I don't think it really posted much. Do I have the box here? I don't. Box is gone. So I didn't see anything on there that it included all these other classic games. And then my son's been down here just kind of mashing buttons and having an absolute blast with it all week, because it's currently, if you can see over here, it's set up to his height, so it's perfect. I did a little short video with him. You can see the top of it's right here. But he was playing around with it, and Gauntlet's on here, and a bunch of other games too, which was pretty cool to see all these old school games included into the arcade one up. Unfortunately for that, though, I'm going to be modding it, so none of those will be there anymore. Are you set at 1080p or 4K? I recorded at 8K. Yeah, so this is on 1080p. I just figured for live maybe it would work a little bit better, but the camera I'm using is 4K, so I could kick it up a little bit. But yeah, I'm still figuring all that stuff out. Love the game Gauntlet. Yeah, so I'm huge into Gauntlet Legends and Dark Legacy. Those are my favorites, but certainly the old school Gauntlets are great as well. After your video on the B-Link Sur 7, I bought it. Now to find a good 2TB Batocera pre-built SSD or HDD. Next month I'm installing an Oculink in the second NVMe slot. Eventually I'll add a desktop 7070 Ti. It's a pretty sweet setup. I love that mini PC. And I just did the video on basically the other version of it from Mini's Forum, and that's phenomenal as well. It has the Oculink adapter that you can install right there if you wanted to. So that's pretty cool that they kind of have that somewhat integrated in. I mean, it's just as simple as inserting it into the slot, which is easy enough. Yeah, it's a pretty cool setup. I didn't realize it didn't come with a riser over here for the arcade one-up, so my wife actually just got I think she ordered a riser at Walmart today. And it was surprisingly cheaper than it was online, so that was cool. So I actually do I have the plans? That's the other thing. I'm not sure how to do like screen grabs on here, because before with StreamYard, which I could use StreamYard still, I don't have anything against them. I just thought maybe it would be easier for the resolution, but now I'm thinking that, again, it's the YouTube thing with just how the lives come in. They just seem to be lower resolution quality, but so maybe I'll just stick with StreamYard because it has all those features integrated into it. But my point was, I can't really show you guys what I was going to show you. Maybe I could show you on my phone. So when I did the Indiana Jones cabinet, I worked with Escape Pod for the design of all the graphics on there, which I love the way that came out. So they're doing this WWF WrestleMania arcade for me, which is what this Mortal Kombat 2 is going to become. So they sent me the designs today. So I don't know if it'll look funny showing you guys through the webcam here. Let's see if does that show up. Let me see if I can bring it into. You can kind of see it there. So that's the layout. You can see at the bottom there. That is the riser. So we got the flames going up with the front is going to be the WWF logo. The bezel, you can see, well, it's hard to see because it's so small, but it's got all the characters like around the outside. And then both side panels are Undertaker with like the lightning and flames at the bottom. So really love the way that looks. The only thing I had to do with that is we have to change around the control deck board, because actually the layout is exactly the same on here, except for there's some run buttons that are a little bit lower on this setup. I actually just realized that now. I thought there was only 5 buttons on here. There's 6, plus the start buttons at the top. So I might just use those yellows as like a select function now that I'm looking at it. But anyways, not to get off track, the plan was to make it identical to this, but the buttons don't line up exactly where they would be on here. So we're going to change the control deck panel and just make it probably more flames, kind of like the riser. So I'm just jumping back into the live chat here. 12 terabyte drive is pretty awesome. The Kinhank, it's got a lot of stuff on it, that's for sure. I don't think any drive is like truly, there's some that are obviously plug and play, but I think everything needs to be kind of altered a little bit to customize it to what you're looking for in order to make it, truly amazing for each individual person. T-Dog135, not much. All good over here though. Hope you're well. Add scene snaps, videos, anything. Let's see. Let me see if I have any of those features highlighted on here. I've kind of got the screen off to the side so I can see the comments in the background here, but let's see. I know there's ways to add. I know I can minimize myself. Like I can just simply, pull this over here. So if I was gaming on here, I could make myself smaller. So yeah, I'm sure that there's like scene selection, but I don't want to mess with it too much and risk totally ruining this stream tonight. So I'll mess around with it. I was actually going to plan on doing like jumping onto like a game or something and just doing a test run, but my schedule kind of got away from me a little bit. The cabinet you modded into an Indiana Jones. I love the cabinet. Looks very nice. Love the graphics. Yeah, that's and I'll certainly shout out Escape Pod for all of that because they did just an amazing job on all of the artwork for that. And not only that, just the quality of the vinyl and everything is just really top notch. I've done a couple wraps in the past, and it's the only time that I've had something that was just really easy to work with. WrestleMania cabinet's going to look sweet. I think so, yeah. It's definitely something that you don't see all the time. That's what I try to go with. Like, I've looked into, there's a lot of arcade cabinets that I really like, but I want to do stuff that, like, you don't see all the time. Like, I've never seen a Temple of Doom one done like that, and I've never seen anybody recreate the WrestleMania one, off of an arcade one-up. So, trying to do original stuff. Next live stream. So I'll definitely be on next Friday. I might add something before then, but working with bringing guests on has been a challenge because not everybody gets back to me, or like, not just that. I mean, everybody's schedule is tough, so I don't want to blame anybody or anything, but it's a challenge to, kind of navigate two different schedules. With me, it's hard enough to figure out my schedule, but to add somebody else into the mix, it can be a challenge. So I'll definitely be on next Friday, but if I can add something Wednesday or Thursday, I'm talking with somebody that wants to join me. It's just, again, figuring out when we can both do it, because I want to do it live too. I talked about actually doing it pre-recorded, but pre-recorded stuff's tough with guests. I just think it's more fun and more interactive to do it live. So I don't think I've done anything pre-recorded with anybody on here so far. Not in a really long time anyways. Yeah, even Steve, when he came on, we went live. Can you play Super Metroid for Super Nintendo? That would be awesome. You know what? I've never played that game, so I certainly could. I don't know how. I mean, it might serve to be very, very entertaining for you guys to see, but I don't know how good I'll be at it. I think the first Metroid I ever played was for GameCube. So, Israel. Yep, definitely will figure it out. That's why I figured since I don't have a guest today, I would jump on here and at least see what the see if it worked, and it at least works. It's just now fine-tuning it and figuring out the ins and outs a little bit better. So this was kind of my test run with you guys today. The other thing that kind of sucks is I don't see the count on here, but I can jump over to YouTube and I can figure out, okay, 84. Cool. Definitely, Kevin. Definitely agree there. Yeah, that's why I could always pull people to fill in and stuff. So that wasn't going to be an issue, but I figured, you know what, I'll just take a step back. Plus, I feel like I haven't been able to be involved in like the live chat as much lately, just because when you're talking with somebody, like last week we had Chris on, and I don't want him to be explaining something because a lot of what he explained was really in depth, and I'm not that bright to begin with, so I want to try to pay attention and absorb as much of it as I possibly can, although a lot of what he said was just way over my head, but it's still interesting to me. So I don't want to be like over here like I kind of am right now reading the live chat and him thinking that I'm not paying any attention. Somebody say Joe Rogan. What was that, Joe Rogan up there? I just saw Joe Rogan, and then everybody's comments pushed it. Oh, you should get Joe Rogan. Yeah, I think he's a little busy these days. My wife hates Joe Rogan. So, fun fact. I don't know why. It's just like that sometimes, I guess. We should not. See? So much for that idea. Yeah, I think she's the only person that doesn't actually. No, there's definitely people that don't like Joe Rogan, but he doesn't bother me. I'm also big into UFC, so I'm very used to him being there on commentary and all that. Perfect Storm. Looking forward to seeing that. And yes, anytime. So I do have a few guests lined up. I have one that I've been kind of going back and forth with, and we're trying to sort out the schedule. But I will. I guess I could announce the other ones. I don't have like the exact. I'll announce one, and it's Wrestling with Gaming. So if you guys haven't checked, actually, I'll get a link for you guys because I'm a huge fan of his channel. In fact, it's a channel that I've watched long before I did any of this stuff myself. He does like basically mini documentaries, and I think I've mentioned him probably in the past on the channel, Wrestling with Gaming. So I'll give you guys a direct link in the live chat because I did speak with him, and he's 100% down to come on. He's finishing up a documentary on the original Game Boy right now, which looks phenomenal. Actually, I think on his page, let me see if I can find it, he had just like a little clip of the introduction. It might be on his secondary page, though. Let me see if I can find it. And it's not like he's got, what's his best video? The making of GoldenEye. So I think everybody likes the GoldenEye game for N64. Just pulling this link for you guys. All right, all set there. Check out this video right here because this is like the caliber of videos that he does. It's just absolutely amazing what he can do. And it's like, like Netflix style documentary quality. So he's going to join me. I was hoping to do it like right before he releases that video, but I'm not sure exactly when he's going to finish it. It's definitely, one of those videos that you could tell if you find that edit video. I'm going to lower this. There we go. If you see what he's working on, you'll see that it's definitely got to be time consuming. I mean, I do very basic edits with my videos. His stuff is in depth. He's doing like 3D graphics. It's just insane. Bill Burr. Some Bill Burr fans. I don't know if my wife likes Bill Burr. I don't know if she knows who he is, but we just watched one of his movies not too long ago. He was in that one with Pete Davidson a couple of years ago. Staten Island one. King of Staten Island, something like that. I think Rogan is okay. Burr can be funny. But either would make your channel explode. Yeah, I think I'm way too small for either of those guys, but we got the Trump going. Some people like Trump, some people don't. Controversy. The firefighter one. Austin Evans would be good. Not a fan of Davidson. I don't like Davidson either. Don't get the hype. I don't find him funny. I don't mind that movie. I didn't mind his show either on Amazon, but I didn't mind it because you had Joe Pesci, you had Brad Garrett, you had all these, and the same thing with the Staten Island one. You had Bill Burr, so you have all these really good, sort of secondary characters in there that I kind of think make the film, and he just happens to be the star of it. But yeah, Boomer Sauce. What's he doing these days? Can you install mini PCs and arcade one-up cabinets? Yeah, that's what I do actually. So both of these, this one's actually a mini gaming PC in here because I have some fairly demanding light gun games that are available on that one. But you can see it's got Area 51 up right now, and that's clearly not what it was designed for. But yeah, you can do that. And then I did it with the Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom one, and I'm going to be doing it with the Mortal Kombat 2 one, which I'm converting into a WrestleMania arcade cabinet. So yeah, I definitely think that's probably the best option to do, honestly. I mean, Raspberry Pis inside arcade one-up cabinets just aren't cost effective anymore, and the performance you get out of them just doesn't compare at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, you're going to spend minimum probably $150, regardless of which route you go. If you get a Raspberry Pi, you have to get all the accessories and attachments for it, cooling fan case, cooling fan, all that stuff. It's going to end up being the same as just getting, a entry-level mini PC. And the mini PCs almost always have better performance, even over the Raspberry Pi 5. Yeah, Old Dads. Yeah, that's the movie we watched. He's in a lot of stuff though. He was in Mandalorian too. Not that you watched that, but I like Mandalorian. I think he was only in 2 episodes, something like that. What's the weirdest game that you like? I recently discovered Cowboys of Moo Mesa. What's that? What system's that for, Shannon? Crazy but freaking awesome. Weirdest games. I don't know what. I'll have to think about that one. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli is kind of a weird one, but it's not it's not too weird. It's strange. It's like a Mafia Metal Slug. I really like that game. Really gory, over the top gory, but like animated gore. I like that a lot. Trying to think of anything else weird. I don't think so. Does anybody know the critical thinker? I don't think so. I don't, anyways. Not ringing any bells. Which drive are we scanning? Oh, Chris Coolmod? Yeah, everything that I have is a mini PC, just because, again, it's the most cost-effective way these days. So this one has a pretty expensive mini PC. I mean, it's a mini gaming PC, so I think it's like $500 or so. I mean, it's a little over the top for what I use it for, especially now that I'm using a simpler light gun drive in there. I had Chris Cool mods in there for a while, and I just found that I wasn't using the higher end games anyways. They're cool, like Technoparrot and all that. Technoparrot does not run well, though. Let me rephrase that. It runs well, but it doesn't look well on a 4:3 aspect ratio screen. So I have a feeling I'm going to end up using that more so on my big screen over here, which I actually I filmed a video today, which is kind of interesting. What I decided to do was I've done some videos in the past on HDMI extenders, basically a receiver and a transmitter that transmits the HDMI signal wirelessly without cables. So I tried that out on this cabinet behind me today, and you're always going to have some latency, but it has gotten much better. Year after year, it seems to get less and less. So I basically set it up going from this over to my 75-inch screen today, wirelessly, just to see how it would pan out for gaming. And I was expecting like significant lags and delays, and it wasn't bad at all. So I'm going to do, I already filmed it, but I'll edit that this weekend, and that'll be a video next week. Just an interesting way to use that, because typically we see that for streaming or watching videos or movies and stuff like that, because then latency doesn't really matter. You're not having that interactive sort of experience, where latency with gaming can be a huge issue. So with retro stuff, and that's mostly what I'm playing on here. I think I did House of the Dead 2 and stuff like that. So it's older games. The latency's not bad at all. So kind of an interesting way to approach it. So I could, in theory, do that with Technoparrot. The only thing is I would need the sensors on my TV over here. So today when I did it, I used my Sinden light guns as opposed to the gun for IRs, just because then I didn't have to bring the sensors over to the big screen. Because I wouldn't bring these sensors. These sensors are in there to stay. They're not removable. Not easily anyways. I could get another set though. Kale King. Do you configure your buttons and stuff? Is it the same? Yeah, so you can... I think I have some tutorial videos on mapping like arcade controls for games and stuff. And every system you want to kind of tweak a little bit, but trial and error can kind of work to your advantage there. Like I was playing Gauntlet Legends, of course, my favorite game, on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and I noticed that I think I had mapped one. I only have 3 buttons on there, so it's a really basic setup. My goal was just to play classic stuff, and then Gauntlet Legends, I was actually playing it through Dreamcast, but still, you can get a great experience out of it with 3 buttons. I think the original cabinet was 3 buttons, but I had mapped it wrong where basically 2 buttons were doing the same function, so I had to just remap. I think it was, I swapped like X for Y or something basic like that, and then it was a great experience after that. So you kind of have to tweak it. With that one, I made just 1 coin button, so you enter your credits with 1 button, and then all 4 players on that cabinet can pull from the coins that are inserted in. Most people will do like a start and select button for each player, but I didn't want to add like 3 extra buttons literally just to add coins. It just didn't make sense for me. If I was using it for more advanced stuff, then I would do that, and I'll probably end up doing that with the Mortal Kombat 2 mod, just because that one has 6 buttons for each player on here, so I'll be able to get into a lot more stuff. Can you play 2-player on emulators? Yeah, you can play up to 4 players, yeah. Obviously, I mean, as long as you have a game that accommodates that many players, then yeah. All right, so I'm behind on the comments, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. I see Earthworm Jim. That is a classic game. I haven't played that in a really long time. Lots of good virus tools out there. I don't know if... Oh, there he is. I didn't know if Perfect Storm had responded. Nice. I use... What do I use? Total AV on the PC that I'm on currently anyways. Always... Actually, with a lot of the drives that I test out, like the plug-and-plays, I use 2 different softwares, but... I have some other ones on some of my mini PCs, but with this one, Total AV's been good. And what's cool with that is they give you 3 devices per account, so and you can actually switch them out too. So you don't have to just set it up with one PC and you're stuck with that. It's nice that you can actually swap it out. So I can move it from PC to PC. I could bring it to my office and stuff like that. Nice to be able to have flexibility. I see Ray S. Build your own and you will truly love your gaming PC. It's not hard. You can build one in a few hours easily. Yeah, you can definitely. I mean, if you want like something really involved, then yeah, it'll take a really long time. But always your best bet's always to create your own stuff, because then it's custom tailored to what your interests are, and you're not having to just kind of live with what somebody else put on. What's everyone's first console? What was my first console? PS1? Yeah, because when I was younger, I played mostly arcade, so I didn't have a home console until PlayStation 1 came out. I think it was PlayStation 1. Yeah, it would have been. Nice, Jeff. Yeah, I've always had good luck with them, and I like that you can have that flexibility to switch it up. Starcade. Never even heard of that. I will have to check that out. You can win a cheesecake. I I got to do that one of these days. Not a cheesecake, but like a gift card or something. That'd be funny. First console was a Pong machine when I was like 4. My mom got it at a yard sale, 1981. I wonder what those are worth these days. It's funny how some old stuff is worth a fortune and some stuff's just not worth anything at all. It's a solid question, Reed. That is the case with some stuff. And that's why a lot of people will tell you to turn off like your Windows Defender and stuff like that. And actually, I had a buddy of mine that was actually in the live chat earlier, and he had somebody actually turn on, or actually they installed a new malware detector virus block, one of those softwares, and ran a scan not knowing that he had his game drive connected, and it totally ruined. Actually, it was Chris Coolmont setup, and totally ruined the entire thing. So, luckily, he did have access to a backup, so he just reflashed it. But still, yeah, it definitely can do a lot of damage. So you have to be careful with that for sure. But you can actually select it as a drive that, like with Chris Coolmods, anyways, it's like it's the D drive and then another one, and you can actually set exemptions from what you want scanned, so you can just leave those out completely, which is a safe option, as long as you do it right. Wow, that's old school right there. Definitely before my time. But I can certainly appreciate the old stuff too. And that's what's nice about emulation, is that you can go back and experience games, decades and decades before. I have shown my stepson like Atari and stuff like that. I mean, he has no interest in playing it, of course. Nor do I, for the most part. I mean, there's some games that are actually pretty fun, but I mean, a lot of them, it's like it's fun to kind of experiment with them a little bit for a little bit of time, but you do get kind of sick of them quick when you're conditioned to more modern day stuff. But it is nice to be able to just plug a drive in or dive into emulation in whatever form you want to enjoy it in, and just see what the history of gaming is. And I think a lot of people have done that. 2600, yeah, that's the Atari stuff that I've jumped into more, the 2600. And there's definitely some fun games in there. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. That's got to be fake, right? You gonna make me Google that? It's not April 1st yet. I feel like I would have gotten like 20 texts from people if that was the case. You're going to make me Google that too. I'm sure that was the intention, right? Yeah. We're safe. No news. Yeah, I'm young for retro gaming. I will say that. I get that a lot. I wasn't gonna low key just go over here and Google search Hulk Hogan. I'll give you the shout out for that one. April Fools came early, but you never know. I mean, everybody else is dropping like flies. Virgil just died. This Hogan rumor has been going since July 23. What's going on with Suyu? You know what? I haven't been following it that closely. He's alive, not dead. Just looked. Yeah, me too. I still got the window open over here. That's a big one. Love him or hate him. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than Hulk Hogan for wrestling. Classic wrestling, anyways. Still running wild. Yep. Yeah, I haven't followed Suyu, but I mean it's easy enough to just kind of pick up where Yuzu left off, but I don't know. Let the dust settle a little bit. I wouldn't jump into it while it's still the hot topic. I think that's kind of crazy. His career died in '99. You know what? I think that he not to start the wrestling talk, but I think that he had a good run when he came back after that. '02 to what was it, '04? I mean, then it was pretty terrible, but he had a few good matches. I mean, I think he kind of did his thing. George the Animal Steel, definitely a classic. I was just playing. I got the new WWE 2K game. I haven't really spent much time on it, but I did do the first showcase match, and it's Steamboat and Macho Man, and then you have George the Animal Steel. Just kind of, they have him in there, but you don't actually do anything with him. So he must be a character in the game. Yeah, Sting wouldn't have worked. Just to comment on Jake Smith's comment there. Love Sting, but yeah, you needed a WWE guy to pull off that storyline and have it be effective like that. You needed a past, WWE superstar. And it doesn't get any bigger than Hogan. So, yeah, I think that's the only reason it worked. But then NWO was cool, but yeah, probably because he had final say, it just got ridiculous after a while. Everybody was a member. It was like the entire roster for WCW was NWO at one point. It's like then you had NWO wrestling NWO. It just got ridiculous. Looking back on it now, like I watch a lot of that stuff now, just to because I'm stuck in the past with it in every way, games and wrestling and all that. Yeah, looking back, it's pretty cringy. Sting wannabe Crow. Say that to Joe Cade. See what he has to say. I'm trying to push his buttons right now. Which wrestling game is good on GameCube? Oh, that's a good question. And somebody else said something else too before. What's the word on AEW game? You know what? It got a lot of hate. I did get it because I wanted to test it out. I've heard so many people. This is me being contrary. I think that just anytime people talk badly about a game so much, like AEW's game, I want to test it out and be the person that actually ends up liking it. But unfortunately, I'm not a big fan, and I don't think it's the game so much. It's kind of basic. There's not a lot to it, but it just doesn't make you want to dive back into it. Like the roster's cool. It's easy enough to play. It kind of feels like a throwback in some ways, but it's not. There's nothing there that like makes you want to come back for more. It's just like I played it for maybe an hour, and then I was like, all right, I feel like I've touched on everything I need to touch on here, and I've yet to play it again. So that's my take on that one. What was the other one though? Oh, GameCube wrestling games. So I played a lot of WrestleMania 18, and I love that WrestleMania, so I like that game. But what are the other ones? Day of Reckoning 1 and 2. Those are probably the best wrestling games, I think. Even WrestleMania 19's not bad, though. The only wrestling game that's bad is Crush Hour. That game's terrible. And it's not even it's a wrestling-themed game, I guess. It's a racing game with wrestlers, but that game's terrible. Everything else is definitely playable, though. It was a good era of wrestling games, I think. Roddy Piper's one of the best, especially on the mic. Crazy guy. Can you do a short video on scanning these drives for viruses? I don't want viruses, but I also don't want to brick this $300 drive. Yeah, I could definitely do that. Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to. I mean, first you can do any scan. Just don't remove anything. Don't like initiate any of the steps after you do a scan. Do a scan and see if you come up with anything. If you don't come up with anything, just hit the X in the corner and you're good to go. But if you find something, then you probably want to track down what it is, because you can find stuff that gets pulled in as or shows up as basically a potential threat. And then, if there's something really crazy on there, then it'll be, a full force threat. But at that point, you can kind of figure out what you want to do. Unfortunately, if you have an actual virus, then, you're basically going to brick that drive because they've, put that in there for one reason, to get your information or to do something that you do not want done. So if that's the case, brick it or just rip the sucker out and send it back. But yeah, I could definitely do that. I hear ET was bad, so I played it. I did that too, actually. There's a video somewhere on here from, back when I had like 2 subscribers where I played that game. And I actually spent a lot of time on it because I didn't think it was bad in that. Let me rephrase that. It's terrible, but I don't think that it didn't have potential. I'm like, you can see that there was something there. They just rushed it because they were on a ridiculous deadline. But it could have been really good. I'll take Bubba Ray and you can have Piper. Game Boy Advance has a few good ones. I don't know what the Bubba Ray was to. I don't see the comments before that, but I always liked Bubba Ray. I actually met him at a concert a couple of years ago. Just randomly bumped into him. Nicest guy. Decathlon for 2600. I don't think I've ever tried that one. Road Warriors. Can't go wrong with the Road Warriors. Yeah, you definitely have to scan and see and, figure out what you got to do from there because it all just depends on what comes up. Like I just scanned one not too long ago and it was, what was it, shareware or something? It was something that wasn't an active threat. But basically, if you went online and you connected it to your network, they would just basically take your data and figure out what you're looking for, that sort of thing. They're not really taking anything that is, too big of a deal, but it's still kind of sketchy. So stuff like that, I wouldn't get too alarmed by, but still, it shouldn't be there, but everybody wants your data at this point. Yes, I did see Piper on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I used to watch that show a lot. I actually lived right outside Philadelphia when that show was on too, so that was the thing to watch back then. Yeah, his classic line. So let me check out and for any of you guys that are just joining, I don't know, I gotta jump over and see what we have, how many people we have in here right now, but if you're just joining, I have that link pinned at the top for the giveaway tonight. So let me see. What do we have? 98 in here. That's pretty good. Considering we had no guests today, I'm thrilled with that. Oh, purpose. I was only there for about a year and a half. Yeah. But I was you're not near Philly, here north. I was thinking Cherry Hill's right there. But you're not that far south in Jersey. Warriors movie. I haven't seen that in a really long time. I'm watching right now is Gran Turismo. Late on that. I know it's been out for a year now, but that's the struggle right now is I can't sit through an entire movie, so I watch movies. It takes me probably 2 weeks to watch any movie right now. So that's been my recent one. I watch 20 minutes a day. Been working at it for a week now, so I'm about halfway through. I think I got 45 minutes left on it, but definitely like it. City of Brotherly Love. Yeah, I was out there in 2006 and part of 2007. I was always a Sixers fan, and then when I got there, Allen Iverson left. So never saw him play there. But I lived in Detroit after that, and then I was in Detroit when he was in Detroit, so I got to see him play for the Pistons, which wasn't the highlight of his career, but still got to see him play quite a bit, so that was cool. Zombie Geek 33, thanks, me too. It is a fun vibe in here. Appreciate you guys for that. I feel like this keeps going up higher and higher. There we go. Yeah, I like that it's low key this week too. Last week was really low key for me because I just let Chris take the reins and talk about BlamCon, and I was super interested in that too. So it worked out perfectly. But usually it's can be tough with a guest, just juggling everything. But all the guests so far have been awesome to talk with too. Yeah, there's just not many movies that really interest me. So I saw today. I think today it came out. The new Roadhouse is on Amazon, and I watched the trailer for it, and I was like, I could take it or leave it. It doesn't. There's nothing that really makes me wanna watch it. I really can't stand Conor McGregor either, so yeah, I'll probably watch it eventually. But I did. I kind of I changed it up a little bit, so it looks. I think it looks more different than it actually is. I just have more cabinets in here for arcade cabinets. Like if I go over here, I think it's Yeah, it's tracking me. You can see I have the racing rig in the back, which I'm working on. That's going to be a couple videos soon from Camus. So actually, the wheel I can do a video on. I filmed part of the wheel video. There it is already. But so I just got these pedals in, and they're tucked on the side of the couch there, so I can't really show those. But they are awesome. But the brake doesn't work. So I think it's a wiring issue. I noticed that the wire was like kinked, and I think it might have there's basically 3 wires in there, and it looks like it might be like disconnected within. So unfortunately, the way it comes is you put the wires into 2 of the 3 pedals, and the brake is the only one that comes with like the cable already like connected internally. So of course, if it was just like a connection cable, it would be an easy fix. So I'm waiting to hear back from Camus on that. So how many screens you going to use for it? So the way this is this just pulls up to your TV. So I was actually thinking about that. I assume you're talking about the racing setup. I was thinking about that yesterday because the way the games work it's basically for simulation. It's not for like arcade racing games, which was a big change in terms of like feel and stuff, because simulation racing is completely different from like the raw thrills or midway racing games where you're laying on that gas pedal. And then I don't think I ever hit the brake in any of those arcade style racing games, so it's very different. It took me probably like 20 races to figure out how to manage everything. But yeah, I was looking at the screen options because you can do screens that like kind of wrap around you, which would be pretty cool. So then you could see like out the side windows and stuff like that. But does it really increase the performance or like the experience? Kind of, but not really. You don't need it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would do the main one and then the 2 on each side of the windshield, then the 2 sides. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll end up doing. Yeah, Beetlejuice 2, I just watched the little sneak preview of that earlier. Now, we were talking about this with Ralph actually a couple weeks ago. Now my entire YouTube feed, it seems, is gaming, of course, and now Beetlejuice stuff. So I've got like all these Michael Keaton interviews popping up on my YouTube feed now because I watched it's a brief trailer. It doesn't really show much. I think you only see Beetlejuice in like one scene, but it looks good. Ray S. I'm not sure, but maybe somebody in here knows. As long as Depp doesn't sing or play guitar in it. I heard he's doing a cameo in it, but I don't know how. I don't know what cameo. I could understand like Gina Davis or Alec Baldwin doing a cameo, but I don't know what Johnny Depp has to do with Beetlejuice. I like Johnny Depp, but nothing like a good self-promotion. I like it. But yes, everybody, check out Perfect Storm Gaming. I just watched their stream the other day. Always good, always entertaining. The writers from Smallville, Wednesday are doing Beetlejuice. Gotcha. Yeah, I noticed that what's the Ortega girl is in it. Johnny Depp as a guest. Yeah, I bet you'd like that. I don't think so. I think Beetlejuice would be a good sequel, though. I don't know. I don't think it'll be like Star Wars where they go in a completely different direction. But yeah, sometimes you got to leave stuff in the past. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work the second time around, especially with that big of a difference. But at least it's Tim Burton still, and all of that. So I think that goes a long way when you have the original mind behind it doing it, and it's not reimagined or any of that stuff. Because the reimagined stuff just goes south for me. Definitely like the intro. I like who your intro starts off with too. So brownie points there. Actually, to be fair though, Ralph's spot is the best one by far. I think he was always Jack Sparrow. I think that's just him. Yeah, I mean, Don Juan would have been what 25 years ago, probably more. So he's got to be like 60 now. So yeah, he was. No more Spider-Man reboots, please. I actually didn't mind the last Spider-Mans. I'm not a big Marvel guy though. Like I'm not real huge into superhero stuff, but I do like is it Tom Holland? I like him as Spider-Man. Never liked Tobey Maguire at all, so I wasn't big into it. Even though the first one had Macho Man in it, that definitely helps. But Donnie Brasco is probably, yeah, I'll agree with you there. Donnie Brasco's a good one. Him and Al Pacino were good. What else did he have that was really good? It's been a while since he's had a good one. Actually, his last one that was French, his last French movie was really good. I watched that on the airplane not too long ago. I mean, the whole thing is subtitles, but it was a really good movie. Let me check on the giveaway here. Too many windows open. Way too many windows open. All right, so let's see. I think we were doing 9:15, so we're coming up on it. Yeah, so a little bit less than 5 minutes left. So I'll give you guys the link again, even though it's pinned up at the top. So if you're new to the stream, you've dropped in here recently, you can just click this right here. So enter to win, and it's this game console right here, loaded with thousands and thousands and thousands of games. And it's a nice setup to it. It actually does have good performance. It's not one of those that we talk about constantly with the million duplicates and all that stuff. It is a really well polished setup here. What's up? Not much. I'm good. I'm good. Oh yes, Blow is probably his best movie by far. Yeah, I would put Blow ahead of Donnie Brasco. That's a classic movie. I could watch that anytime. And he actually did a documentary with the guy that Boston George a couple of years ago, right before he died. That was really good too. Fear and Loathing's good. That's a tough one for me to get into though, and I'm a big Hunter Thompson fan. Actually, I used to have somewhere on here. I mean, I have his logo tattooed on my arm, so really big into Hunter Thompson. But as a movie, it's a lot to dive into. Dark Shadows is pretty good. Yep. I don't think Dark Shadows is like a classic film, but it's definitely entertaining. Brasco was good. Too trippy. Yeah, it's just not like an easy watch. You have to be in the, I guess, right or wrong mindset for it. Have you seen Where the Buffaloes with Bill Murray? Yeah, that's a good one. Gladiator 2. You know what? The only thing I know about Gladiator 2 is just like the little bits that I've seen of Russell Crowe talking about it and how he's sick of answering people's questions on it. That's my only exposure to Gladiator 2. But I did hear like briefly little bits about the storyline. I mean, be interesting to see how they do it. Is that Ridley Scott in that doing that one? T2. T2 is definitely a classic. And one of the rare cases where the sequel is better than the original by a landslide. Pee Wee Herman, yeah. Paul Rubens, yep. Derek for real. Dark Shadows was, oh yeah. That's I remember when they were making that. I remember watching an interview with Tim Burton. Is it from like the 60s or 70s? Not to pinpoint age. Conan the Barbarian, that's a classic too. You scared her away, Vito. I haven't seen her since. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Yes, I saw Rolling Stones 3 times. Yep, I saw them once in Hartford, once in Gillette Stadium where the Patriots play, and then TD Garden in Boston was the last time. That was probably 2014, I want to say. It's been a while. Yeah, they're always good. When I saw them in Boston, it was they always have big opening acts or they bring like cool people on with them. So they brought Gary Clark Jr. out with them in Boston, which I'm a big Gary Clark Jr. fan. So that was really cool. And the first time I saw them was Kanye West before he was, I guess he was fairly big at the time, but not what he is now, I guess. Spaceballs. I haven't seen that in a really long time. It's a good one, though. All right, let's see what we have on here. 29 seconds. So if you didn't enter to win the giveaway, enter right now. Get 29 seconds. Go. I would love to see the Stones in concert. They're good, and they're still going, too. At least 3 of the... Although Ronnie Wood's not an original, but I still consider him to be somewhat original. You click the link at the top of the screen there. It's pinned to the top, and actually, it should be right here, but it's probably too late now. So I always do videos just kind of announcing them, usually a couple days before this too. Cheesecake emulator. That's what we need, a retro gaming guy cheesecake game. Like Pac-Man, but you're eating cheesecake slices. ZZ Top's a good band to see live, even still. I saw them in right before, what's his name, bass player died. I saw him in Vegas, probably right before COVID. They're always good live. And they're on tour right now with Skynyrd, I think, or they're about to go on tour with Skynyrd. I kind of like when there's no openers. Because you rarely get openers that you actually want to see. I mean, sometimes if it's like a double build concert or something like that, but Ozzy live. I saw Ozzy many times, but I don't think I'd want it. Ozfest. I went to Ozfest. That was like my first real rock concert. Ozfest 2004. and that was when they first got back with Black Sabbath. So that was fun. But yeah, I've seen Black Sabbath twice. I've seen Ozzy solo, I think 3 or 4 times. But Bryan Adams, that's a good one. I've never seen Bryan Adams. Saw Foo Fighters in Philadelphia one time. Never seen Weird Al. Foo Fighters are good though. Gathering of the Juggalos. I've heard crazy things about that. Dio was, yeah, in terms of like singing, definitely. I like classic Sabbath better than Ronnie James Dio Sabbath, but Ronnie James, I'm a huge Dio fan. Both with, the Heaven and Hell album, I think is really good, but still prefer classic Sabbath. So next is going to be, so I have one kind of up in the air for next week. It's been up in the air for a while. And then I have Wrestling with Gaming is going to be coming on soon. We don't have a set Friday, but he's down for pretty much whenever. So I was trying to figure out the wild card one, iron that one out, and then plug everybody else in. But if I don't get that ironed out in like the next 2 days, I'm just going to book everybody else for, Fridays for the next 3 weeks. So I do have that. Who else? That's probably the only one I'll announce currently, but Wrestling with Gaming I'm a huge fan of, and despite the channel name, he doesn't do anything, or I don't want to say anything, but he doesn't do much that's like wrestling related. It's all retro gaming, but mini documentaries, so I'm really looking forward to that because I'm a huge fan of his channel, and he's recently come back to it too because he took some time off. I think he took like 2 years off. Never saw Van Halen. No Rest for the Wicked tour. That would have been a good one, I would imagine. Asus A10 Elite. That would be funny to get roasted. I will have to look into that one. Is it a current PC? Hey dude, thanks for your content. It's really helped me with my Botocera setup. Cheers. Glad to hear it. That's always a good thing to hear. Thank you for supporting the channel, watching. Linkin Park. I don't think I ever saw Linkin Park either. Oz with Randy Rhoads. That's got to be a treat. Not many can say that. Metallica. I've never seen Metallica. Band of Horses I saw open for Pearl Jam probably, I think when they first came out. And they were good. Randy Rhoads is definitely one of the best. I like Zakk Wylde a lot too. "10 years old, Radeon integrated graphics." Well, what's the RAM on there? Seems like Metallica is pretty consistent. Tenacious D I've never seen. I've heard good things though. I like Jack Black. Jack Black's one of those people that I never liked, and then now I like him a lot. It's just one of those weird things. I could not stand him for the longest period of time. I guess that'll do it. I saw Aerosmith a few times. Joe loves Pearl Jam. I've seen Pearl Jam a couple of times. I like my favorite album of theirs is like one of their least, what most people that like Pearl Jam don't like about them. It was like the 2005 or 2006 album with like the avocado. I forget even the name of the album, but I really enjoyed that album. Otherwise, I just never really got into Pearl Jam, to be perfectly honest. Dropkick Murphys, St. Patty's Day in Boston. It's a triple threat right there. Jack Black at jury duty? That's awesome. Green Day's good live. That's one of those bands that I don't listen to, but live they're completely different. Like so much better. Like Motley Crue was one of those bands that I thought live was just light years better than they ever were on like their albums and stuff, but not anymore. Back in, when they first got back together, '05, that was one of the best shows I'd ever seen. Smashing Pumpkins, awesome band. I've seen them once or twice. Bon Jovi, I never liked Bon Jovi until I saw him live, so it's another one. Way better live. Ugly Kid Joe. Never heard of him. I'll have to check that one out. I don't think I'll forget that name. All right, let's figure out the winner for the retro game console. All right, jump into all these windows here. All right, so the winner of the plug and play game console, which I've got right here, is Daryl Raybon. I'll copy and paste your name into this, but I believe I'm saying everything correctly, so congratulations, Daryl. Where are you guys? There you guys are. So you are going to love this because this is really one of the few plug-and-play game consoles that's really nicely put together with good performance. It's like two things that don't go together as often as they probably should. So you're definitely going to like that. So I will email you at the end, and hopefully you're in here. And if Daryl's in here, comment, and I'll try to spot you out here. Not that I can put you on screen today because I'm coming in through OBS, but congratulations. So I'll send you an email, and if you're watching this later on, that's fine too. So I will send you an email, and you can just respond to that with your address, and I'll get it shipped out maybe tomorrow, or worst case, it'll be Monday. Sorry, Derek A. Yeah, nobody's been not claiming them lately. I will say that. The first couple weeks, actually, the first time I did the giveaway, we had the double winner, 2 mini PCs to the same person, and that was like the biggest entry as well. I think it was like 2,000 entries for each one because I had announced it and then waited 2 weeks to do I did like 2 weeks instead of just 1 week. Actually, this week I just did 1 day, so yeah, it was 2 weeks that people had to enter, and I think everybody got multiple entries as well, so it was like 2,000 entries and the same person won. Curious, would you be able to identify me if I won? What do you mean? Well, I have your email. I have the winner's email address and name, so I just send them an email, and then I get a response and with an address, and it goes out to that person. So I don't know what you mean by identify. Yeah, OBS is new to me for sure. Yeah, it was definitely crazy, but he ended up actually gifting it to somebody else. So it was cool to see that, it wasn't somebody that was just going to kind of keep two mini PCs for himself. So that was cool to see. I know, that's what I said to him when I sent him the email. I actually asked him to pick out some lottery numbers for me, which he did, but they didn't pan out, so I guess his luck had run dry at that point. That's good advice from Ray. Yeah, you're still going to pay a premium price for them. It's not as ridiculous as a premium as it once was, but the performance really isn't there anymore when considering other options anyways. The performance is good on Raspberry Pi 5 from what I hear, but, you're still going to have limitations. It's still a much smaller setup. You're talking about a single board, computer versus a mini PC, which just has a lot more going on. So even if you do have to spend a little bit more money with the mini PC, it's just totally worth it in the end to spend a little bit more and get a lot more in terms of performance. Winner, winner, cheesecake dinner. Yep, I suppose so. Yeah, definitely. I think mini PCs are just the way to go at this point. So they're cost effective, performance is good on them. I mean, there are some duds out there for sure, but just tons of options. I mean, if you just type in mini PC on Amazon, you'll see tons of things pop up. So there's something for everybody for sure. Any suggestions on arcades other than One Up? And are there any retro consoles that will play PS3 and 360? I don't believe there are any retro consoles that will play that. Yeah, not that I can think of. Usually things max out, like the one, that I just gave away here. This guy right here. Usually they max out at like PSP, Dreamcast, and N64. And this is one of the few that N64 actually works well on. A lot of them, it doesn't. And actually, I think they have Sega Saturn on here, if I'm not mistaken, but it doesn't work. The games load up, but for some reason, I cannot get any controllers to work with the games. So not sure what's going on there, but I have seen that issue with some other setups in the past. So yeah, unfortunately, those are not going to work. I believe Legends cabinets are decent. They're comparable to Arcade 1-Up. There's a few other options out there that I think are higher quality, but it just depends. Are you looking to mod it? If you're going to mod it, then, I mean, you can even build your own from scratch if you're handy, I suppose. I did that with a Barcade one, and, I mean, it was a lot of work. It was way more than I wanted to really get into. But I mean, if you're good at woodworking, then you can definitely have a good experience with that and customize it to the exact scale that you want, because the Arcade 1-Ups and even some of the other options that I've seen, they are very small scale. But for me, actually, I've always hated that they were small scale until I decided to put them in this room, because this is like my studio space here in the house, and I don't want to have like an oversized cabinet here, just because I don't want to have a smaller and smaller workspace and area, because it looks pretty good here, but there's tons of lighting on the other side of the room, and there's cables all over and wires, and it ends up getting smaller and smaller the more I film. So the smaller scale cabinets actually work to my advantage in this unique situation. But if I was trying to put one in my house and just have one, then I would want that larger scale. So that can be a plus or a minus, I suppose. A pro or a con. This one or the time machine? That's a solid question. I like, what were they charging? Both of them, honestly, are overpriced. The time machine, when I reviewed it, was selling for significantly less than what it's selling for now. So it makes me, at the new price point, not like it as much. But I would say they're both comparable. They both have a really good experience. I don't know if I'd favor one over the other. Probably just go with whichever one's cheaper. This one's like $275 right now. It is overpriced for what is being offered. The best price is the price that you just got on it for free here for the winner. But yeah, $275 is just too much for any plug and play console setup like this that is limited to just going up to PSP and 64, as well as Dreamcast. If you want to set up your own stuff, and I think that's the big draw to stuff like this, is you get people that don't want to set up their own stuff, which I don't disagree with that. Some people don't have the time or patience to get into that stuff. It is a lot to do, but you end up paying a premium for what, you can get into turnkey like that. If you were to set up your own setup for about $150, you could probably get through PS2, GameCube, Nintendo Switch, which is the controversial topic these days, but you could get that up and running, and you can still get Yuzu. There are places to still get that. You could do all that for about $150. I have a video on using a HP Elite Desk, and actually I'm going to do a follow-up video on that too, because a lot of people have been asking me to do one, because now that HP Elite Desk is including M2 SSDs, not the, I think it was the 2.5-inch SSDs that used to be on there. So that video is a little confusing to people that are getting them now because they've swapped out, the drives that they're using inside. All right, so I'm going to jump back in here because I know I missed a bunch of questions. And if you guys ask questions and I didn't respond, just ask them again. So, all right, so we got that one down. Yeah, Launchbox is probably better performance than Batocera, but I've had a pretty good experience with Batocera myself. But I mean, you definitely have to do. I don't know. I guess it just depends on what you're used to. Like, I'm used to Batocera and using Linux, so for me, it's a little more second nature. All right. My only worry about mini PCs is how long they last. Yeah, it's a solid question. I mean, with it being newer, there's no, advanced test on that. There's no way to really say how long they're going to last. Like, I have some mini PCs that I've had for about 2.5 years now, and they work as well as they did the day I got them. But that doesn't mean everything is going to, be that same experience. Like, I have a Boss Game one, which is not a no-name brand, but it's not as well known as like Minis Forum or B-Link or anything like that. And that's what's in the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom cabinet. But that was like $139. So, if it gets me 2 years and it craps out at $139, I'll just buy a new one. So in that, regard, it's not a big deal. But if you're talking about like the last mini PC that I reviewed, which was, I'm blanking on the price now, I think it was like $6 and change, and it's currently on sale. So retail on it was like almost $800 or so. If you're paying $800, you want to make sure that you obviously are going to get some time out of it. And I think you will, but yeah, there's no definitive testing on that. Nobody can really tell you 100% you're going to get, between this many years and that many years out of this mini PC. So time will tell, I suppose. But for reliability, I think B-Link, Minis Forum, and those are probably the top two right now. And they do have, Minis Forum does have a sub-brand too, which is a little bit more affordable, but still high quality. Has anybody played? Yeah, I actually mentioned that earlier when somebody asked me about weird games on Steam Deck. Yeah, it's an awesome game. You can actually get it for Switch emulation too, and it performs great. It's really an awesome game. Unsupported on the deck. It shouldn't be. I've done it through the Yuzu emulator though for Switch. I don't think I've played it through Steam, so I'm not sure why it would be unsupported. It's really not demanding at all to get into. I mean, it's a really basic game. It's basically Metal Slug, for the modern day era. It's like Metal Slug meets Walking Dead meets The Godfather or Sopranos. Best way to play PS3 and Xbox is to buy the console. I have both and got every game. Yeah, especially PS3 emulation has gotten better. Original Xbox is still pretty hit or miss. I'm not a huge fan of that emulator. There's just not much you can do in there with like settings adjustments. Like sometimes with PS2, you have some games that stutter or they have some issues. There's so many different settings adjustments that you can make to better the performance. The Xbox emulator doesn't have all of that. There's very limited stuff that you can do in that emulator. So that certainly contributes to a lot of games not being, a good performance. Wii U is the furthest I've seen mini PC and retro console boxes go. Even then, your performance is questionable most of the time. You're lucky to get PS2 and GameCube to run. On the plug-and-play consoles, yeah. For mini PCs, I mean, you can get well beyond those. Or not so much well beyond Wii U. You can get Switch running. But Switch, there's certainly games you're not going to have a good experience with. Where was I going with that? Sorry, I was reading another comment there. Yeah, you just have to pay a premium price for them. You're not going to get a $150 mini PC that can do all of that. But actually, the Boss Game mini PC, which I was just talking about in my indie cabinet, can play PS2 pretty well. It can play some Switch as well. But, it's not the most powerful mini PC by any means. You have to make some adjustments to the game emulators to get, through those well. you play your intro music on the guitar. No, that's actually no, I didn't record that. No. I haven't played this guitar behind me in a really long time. Actually, I haven't played much of anything in a really long time. Everything that I do is pretty much stuff with the kids and family, and then everything that you guys get to see over here. I'm constantly doing videos and editing. When I finish this live, I'll be back to editing. Do you have a specific setup that you use the most for your personal use? So I'm using my HP Pavilion gaming PC for pretty much everything, and then I test out so many PCs now that I just have like a bunch of different mini PCs coming in all the time that I test out a bunch of games on. So I feel like I'm always testing something out and then doing a video on it. So I do a lot of gaming on whatever comes in as well. But this is pretty much my home setup here that I use, I suppose, for personal use. I mean, I'm doing the stream on here right now, so that's pretty much what I use. It's a HP Pavilion gaming PC. It's like $1,000 gaming PC or so. Actually, it's come down in price now, but there's so many variations of this one. So it's got like NVIDIA GeForce. I forget which GeForce it has for graphics, but it's pretty solid. It handles everything that I throw at it. But for like modern day gaming, I mean, I've been using the Xbox Series X a lot for that stuff. I went through a really long period of time where I wasn't playing anything modern, and now I'm kind of back playing modern stuff. At least I play a lot of Fortnite now with my stepson. I do a lot of like short form content with Fortnite too, so I've been playing with other people a little bit more, through the channel. So that's been fun. And what did Perfect Storm Gaming? Yeah, Batocera is pretty user friendly. Like that's what I have running on the T2 here. So for like light, I know you like light gun games. It's pretty great for that. Like I'm able to play. What's the pirate game? I know you just played it too. Blanket on the name, but the PS3 games. There's, those three main PS3 light gun games. They perform on here great by way of Batocera. So you can definitely get into a lot, but you can't do like Technoparrot on there, which is unfortunate because like the specs of the PC can obviously handle it. It's just not working with Linux. So I think that may eventually change, but I think you can get on Retrobat Technoparrot working. I haven't done it myself, but I believe that you could do that. And Retrobat and Batocera are pretty similar. It's just Linux versus Windows. Yeah, the Sur 6 is a powerhouse, so I'm no doubt about that. You should be able to get PS3 going on there too. Maybe not everything, but you should be able to get quite a bit. Platinum. Yeah, I've been playing Fortnite ranked lately, which is a challenge. So now I walk around telling everybody that I'm platinum ranked, and my wife is sick of hearing it. It's a joke that I'm flexing like that because nobody gives a shit, but you gotta flex where you can. I've seen Joe in the background of your shorts. Yeah. I had the best game when I played with Joe, so I gotta get back on duos with Joe. So Joe from Perfect Storm Gaming, he plays Fortnite too. We actually, when I had him on here on the live stream a couple weeks back, we talked about it. Dead Storm Pirates, yes, that's the one. We talked about it, and he was like, "Let's play duos sometime." So we did, and the first one we didn't come across anybody in the match for like 20 minutes, and then I think I went crazy and got eliminated really quickly. Next game we won, and I think it was my best game ever. So yeah, we gotta do that again sometime. Yeah, the UM780, that's definitely my favorite so far, by far. And it is comparable to the B-Link Sur 7 in many ways. So that's not, tiers below it by any means. They're neck and neck, but just the port options, and just I don't know, I like the layout of it better. So that's what inched it out ahead for me. But performance-wise, I mean, they're pretty well aligned. So if you can get one of them at a significant discount over the other, that's probably the way to go. But yeah, if they were neck and neck like that, price point too, the Minis Forum option is the route I would take. That's exactly what I do actually. And she rolls her eyes, and it doesn't go anywhere. So Just Jamie, yeah, Just Jamie's got a great channel. Actually, just came across that channel, I don't know, a couple months ago at the most. Take care, Richard. Thanks for joining us. We'll wrap it up soon too. Sorry, I can't see the last, but there we go. I was gonna say I hate the way that they put that heart there, and then it blocks like the tail end of that last comment when the last comment is long like that. Yeah, that pirate game is awesome. They went further than I did. I played it for a while. Yeah, plus it's all like machine gun too, so you have the recoil clacking away too. That's the only thing. You know what? That's what's cool though about Gun for IR. You can, and I suppose retro shooters too. You can just unplug that if you need to, because sometimes I'm playing really late at night and I feel like I'm shaking the whole house. Because if you have that recoil going, you have to naturally just like up the volume on the game too. Otherwise, you don't even hear the game. Like I sent a couple little videos from my phone when I was playing with Gun for IR on like machine gun games like that. Like I think I did that with Time Crisis, Raisin Storm 2. And the people that I was, sending the video to were like, why does it doesn't sound like a real gun? I'm like, you just can't even hear the volume in the background, because I'd have to just, dial it up to 11 to combat the recoil sounds. Did any YouTubers inspire you to make your YouTube channel? Yeah, absolutely. So I talked about Wrestling with Gaming coming on, and he was probably, and still is, like, in my opinion, the best YouTuber. And he's not well known just because he just hasn't been, I mean, he's been around for a while actually, and his stuff has like tons of views. Like some of his videos have well over 1 million views. So he's well known. He's got over 100,000 subscribers, but he hasn't been active for like the last couple of years. And if you're not active on YouTube, people, you're just not fresh in people's minds. But his stuff is just so good, so well polished, so well put together. Like it's all scripted because it's that documentary format. So I watched his stuff long before I got into YouTube. So he's somebody that definitely inspired me, even though, the approach I've taken is completely different. I don't, I'm not on his level in any way like that. And my content's so much different. But yeah, I would say that he's inspiring. And then, there's a lot of people in the space, like Retro Ralph is awesome too. Really a big fan of his stuff. And I just watched his On The Go video at the convention he was just at. He always puts out really good stuff, and his camera angles and all that stuff is well put together. That's not, like my stuff is pretty straightforward. Camera, me talking about products, it's, it's very basic. So, yeah, I would definitely say Retro Ralph. It's ETA Prime is good. The only thing with ETA Prime is you don't know who ETA Prime is. You just know his hands. So that's like the only thing that, I don't think that people identify with you if you don't show your face. That's the only thing I would say about ETA Prime is just like you don't have that like connection to him, which I think is key with reviews. Like you want to feel like the person that's reviewing something. Yeah, so that's the only downside to ETA Prime, but he's thorough as hell with his stuff. Jerry, thanks so much. Take care. Yeah, I think that's kind of how it goes. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers a lot of the people that I follow don't have massive followings, and I think it also has to do with the fact that like what I like isn't necessarily mainstream content either. Yeah, but like his for Williams' comment there, for sure. I've actually seen that one that you're talking about, but for like his regular, day-to-day content, because he does do a lot of content. He has a lot of output. That stuff is, you just don't see him behind the, don't see him in the frame all that much. So that's the only downside there. Yeah. Yeah, my wife doesn't cook too much. That's okay. It's better that way. When I started my retro build experience, I got into Prime. Then I found your channel. I've been down ever since. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. It's always good to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep it interesting. At this point, I just do what like interests me. I've turned down like for the first 2 years, I didn't turn down anytime a company wanted to have me review something. The only thing I always say is I'm not going to follow like a script or any of that crap. And I don't take payment from them. I know that's a big thing that everybody thinks that YouTubers get paid for reviews. We don't. Well, you can, but it's not really ethical to do that. If it's like a product placement, I can understand, but yeah. Keep him in his place. Yeah, it is. It is very cut and paste, I suppose. That's why I try to do different things. Like I try not to do like too many like back-to-back mini PCs because then I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over. Because if it seems that way to you guys, it definitely feels that way as the person doing the video. I feel like I do the same thing all the time. So I try to at least stagger videos like that. So I'll do a mini PC, then I'll do a couple other things before I do another mini PC. Actually, this last mini PC video I did was the first one in a couple weeks. So, did your guest last week hook you up with one of their amazing light guns? No, I think maybe I'll harass him too. But Chris is awesome. I really enjoyed talking with him, and I've talked to him since then too. And we've been talking about. Actually, he's been giving me information on the like the whole 3D printing thing because I find it really fascinating, like what you can create through 3D printing. It's just not something I personally have time for, and I'm not trying to learn anything new at this point. I'm trying to just barely hang on to what I do as it is. Yeah, ETA Prime does do a lot of big box videos. I think he tests a lot of his stuff that way too. Well, Wicked Gamer is good, or Wicked Gamer is good for sure. And he's come a long way. I agree. I think the best thing about the live stream here is the people that attend it. Uh-oh, Heck and Steve's here. Cheesecake. Starting the cheesecake thing. I was just texting Steve the other day, and I said that everybody, since he's been on, just talks about cheesecake in the live chat every single time. And he's the one that started that. I'll have to go back and watch that video that we did to see exactly how this all started, because I don't remember clearly, but I do remember it came from Steve. So he's the one to blame for cheesecake. Because now new people come in, and they're just, especially the guests now, they're like, why is everybody... I knew that through Ralph for a loop, too. Not much, Steve. Just winding down. Probably do another few minutes here, but yeah, just flying solo today. We definitely have a good group. Can't talk. Definitely have a good group in here for sure. It's always good vibes, and even on like the video premieres, it's always good time, always good conversation and stuff. So yeah, well, shout out to Heck and Steve there, the founder of the cheesecake comments. Definitely check out his channel too. He's got such great content over there. I have to finish your last video, actually. I just got busy with editing videos, but always good stuff over there. Is that how it started? Did you say something like that and it just stuck? I forget what it was. That's right. I saw that. That'll be good. Is Phoenix resale, is that like the DK oldies for you? with like the new content. You get more views when like Caleb is being covered versus other resellers. I feel like it would, especially because of the backstory there. I feel like it would definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially you guys have a long history trading shots. Yeah, definitely. It's fun to go onto your stream, Perfect Storm Gaming, because yeah, it's a lot of familiar faces, which is always cool. Always good conversation, always a good vibe. So if you're going to start with a group of people, I don't think you could choose a better group. Well, happy to help. I'm not doing the content though. That's all you. So yeah, every time you do a video, it's funny. You always have by like the next day, it's always like 2,000 views and up. So that's awesome. And I know that the Caleb interview definitely did numbers. So that's awesome to see too. I don't know, Steve. Have you seen the Perfect Storm Gaming? They're a fairly new channel that's just starting with like live streaming. They're pretty cool though. Definitely got some good conversation going while they game. It's cool vibe in their live streams. So definitely check them out. Yeah, their intro is pretty sweet. Starts off with retro gaming guy. Yeah, definitely check them out. There you go. Yeah, I think they were the next guests that I had on after you, Steve, because I think I did a couple solo Fridays in between. Because you came on before I had decided to like start bringing guests on like a regular basis. So you were the first guest aside from first guest on a live stream. I've done interview stuff in the past, but no like set guests. So, Steve, what have you been gaming on lately? Are you still playing the latest WWE game, or have you switched to something else? Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you come on soon too, because we always have good conversations. Spotted Dick. I love it. Gotta say, awesome channel name. Don't give up though, because you can do the same content as somebody else. Like there's tons of people reviewing the exact same stuff that I review. You don't have to compete. You just have to be yourself, and people are going to gravitate towards whatever your individual style is. It just takes forever. I will say that. Like I started November 20th, 2020. So what's that, 3.5 years around there? I mean, it takes forever. It's painfully slow, and it drives you absolutely insane, especially when you consider how much work goes into every video. And that's something that nobody knows if they haven't done it. It drives you nuts. So stick with it, though. If at the end of the day, you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy doing it, then, it's not the right fit for you. But if you do and you stick it out, it does get good in the end. And you will find people that, gravitate towards your content. So Retire Tech USA. Yeah, I was thinking about, I've been going back and forth on addressing that one. I know we talked about that, and I actually talked to Perfect Storm Gaming a little bit about that too. Yeah, I was going to do a video talking about him, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to take that approach, but I did do the short video, but that was pretty mild. Minecraft, Fortnite, Rocket League, Pokemon Go. I didn't know you do Rocket League. I haven't done Rocket League in a long time, but I like that too. Pokemon Go, Dragon Ball Z, sweet. Yeah, I really like the new WWE game. I don't know, I've been so into Fortnite lately. I've been doing ranked Fortnite and trying to like navigate that. and that's friggin' brutal. I was feeling really good about myself too for a little while, and then I just leveled up too high, and now I just getting murdered really quickly. Do I have that one game that I feel like no one could beat you at? No, everybody's better than me at something. I'm pretty good with Virtua Tennis, though. And I know that gets brought up all the time. It's a weird game to be good at, but I've played it so much that I'm pretty good with Virtua Tennis and the strategies of like working the angles and stuff. I'm pretty solid with that. I don't know if nobody could beat me. I don't know if I'd say that, but pretty solid at that one. What else? When I'm practicing like 2-on-2 open ice challenge, which is like the hockey version of NBA Jam, I'm pretty solid with that one too. But I really haven't jumped into that one too much lately. And with that one, it's tough with different controllers because it's meant for the arcade. So the way that it defaults to gamepad controllers is kind of awkward. So you have to kind of tweak that one a little bit. Guitar Hero 3. Is that... I'm trying to think of the one that I like. I think the one that I like most was World Tour, but I'm not good at... Like, I play those on, like, medium at the most. So I'm not good with Guitar Hero. I just find it's a challenge, like, if you... I don't want to say... I guess you can separate that from, like, actual guitar and stuff, but it can be a challenge, like, if you actually know the songs, too. I feel like I do better with songs that I'm not familiar with. Because then you don't have, like, that muscle memory, or, like, you don't know, like, the different parts of the songs, if that makes sense. I've heard good things about Brotato. I've never played it. It's been on some of the game drives that I've reviewed, though, like, pretty consistently. Rocket League is tough. That's definitely a tough one. Now it's like integrated with Fortnite, which I've never done it, now that they're together. But yeah, tennis games are fun. Which is a weird one because I feel like not that many people, like there's a lot of people that like playing video games of tennis but don't actually like the sport. Okay, that's a pretty solid one then. Brotato. Gotta check that out. I'm pretty good with Gauntlet Legends too because I'm just obsessed with it, but I don't play it as much as people think I do. I did play it today a little bit because I was filming a video. I mentioned before doing the HDMI extender video, so I actually hooked it up to both cabinets today and transmitted the feed over to my big screen TV. So I used Gauntlet Legends as my Indiana Jones cabinet test. Rocket Racing is good in Fortnite. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out later today or tomorrow. Definitely this weekend because, yeah, I haven't done... It was funny, I was going through all the different options in Fortnite yesterday, and there's so much on there that I'm not aware of. I mean, I've played pretty much... I'm a zero build guy because I can't build for shit, but... And these kids just build, like, these monstrosities in, like, 3 seconds, and I don't even know what button starts building, so... Yeah, I'm a zero build, and that's about it. That's a good game. Road Rash is a good one. That's a challenging game, too. I'm usually sliding across the concrete in that one pretty consistently. So definitely not at the top of my list of games that I don't think anybody's better at me at. Sounds good. I'm going to wrap it up, too. Let you guys go. It's Friday night. Go play some games or do something exciting with what's left of it. But thank you guys so much for joining me. It's always fun, and especially without the guests, it's interesting to see how many people show up. So thank you guys so much for that. So I guess the plan is for next Friday. I don't have anything confirmed for earlier. I was thinking either Wednesday or Thursday, so there could be a live stream Wednesday or Thursday. It's still, the offer's out there. I'm just waiting to hear back. So we'll see what happens, but as soon as I know, you guys will know, and we'll take it from there. But plan for next Friday, and I'll have some videos out in the meantime. I have a video probably coming out tomorrow night. I just have to edit it still. So I have a couple of videos filmed that I'm going to edit and put out. So definitely plenty of stuff to look forward to. So thank you guys so much for the support as always. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys real soon. And I've been talking about jumping on a live stream, like playing some games, because I do want to further test out OBS here. This is my first time streaming through OBS, so I might do that at some point over the weekend, just briefly jump into something to test it out. So it might be a rough run, but we'll give it a go. So, all right, guys, take it easy. Have a good weekend, and thank you guys so much.